What's up, YouTube? Today's video is going to be on shifting. It's going to be a short video. It'll show you how to adjust the derailleurs so you can shift properly while riding the bike. Tyler Brooks requested this video, so Tyler, this video is for you and I hope you like it. Okay, so just a little explanation of how the derailleurs work and the cables work. I know some of you out there know more than everybody because you love to leave it in the comments because you guys know it all and you've done it all. But anyway, the derailleur itself, there are two limit screws. There's a high and a low. The cable gets hooked up to the derailleur. Once that cable is actuated or activated by you and the shift lever, it puts some tension on the derailleur. And what it does, it either will pull it and allow it to open up, or it will do the opposite and close it up. So if you took the limit screws, you would see the range that the derailleur would move side to side. So those would be your gears. So it would be 1 through whatever you have, and then the reverse. So the cable tension is important. Also, the limit screws are important. You don't want the chain to roll over into the wheel, and you don't want the chain to go in between the frame and the cassette. So you need to set the limit screws. So that's what the limit screws do. They allow the movement side to side. The cable, if it's not taut enough, when you make that click or the click with your thumb, there's a delay and it won't allow that to jump over. So if you have too much slack and you make that click to go to switch, it's not going to do anything and you'll hear tick, 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 tick. What you could do, this is where the barrel adjustment on the front of the bike near your shift levers, you would twist that to tighten it, and that would make the tension on the cable greater, and it would allow the derailleur and the shifter to actuate that and make that shift smoothly, if that makes any sense. The same goes for the front derailleur. It moves side to side. You need to make sure that the limit screws are adjusted properly so they don't go either over or under, and you really don't want that chain to keep hitting along the side of the derailleur as you're pedaling, because it is a little annoying. You could, again, while you're riding, use that barrel adjustment to either tighten or loosen that, and that will change the cage. I'm going to do the adjustments now. The bike that I'm going to be using, it's a Mongoose ALX. It's the 18 speed, I believe. No, 16 speed. So it's 8 and 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the bike out of whack because it is already tuned up and the bike's running fine. But I will put it out of whack and then I'll fix it and show you how to do it. Alright, so I'm just going to show you in the video here that the bike is actually running properly. So it shifts into the bigger chainring in the front, and then one click it drops down into the smaller chainring. Once again, big chainring, small chainring. Okay, so I'm going to make an adjustment to the derailleur, and I'm going to use the limit screw, which is marked H, and I'm going to tighten it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to pedal, I'm going to shift, and now I can't get that to shift into the high gear. So I can't get this to jump up on the big chainring, no matter how hard I push on the shift lever. And all I have to do is loosen the limit screw marked H, pedal, and she jumps up there automatically. And that's because the cable tension is already set. Drop it down, it jumps down, click it once, it jumps up to that top chainring. The low, I'm going to loosen the low. And then try and shift it. And you see how it struggles. Then I try to go back down and it makes it down. So it's slightly off. But now it shifts properly. So it's just a little bit of an adjustment. And what happens is when this screw bottoms out and actually catches, you can see the derailleur move side to side. So if the chain was rubbing on the inside of the cage here or the outside or vice versa, you can make those adjustments and see that cage move. So if I tighten it, it comes out this way. If I loosen it, it drops back toward the frame. And what that'll allow me to do is keep the chain from rubbing against the derailleur as I pedal. So now it's pretty quiet. I shift once, it's up in that big chain ring. I shift once, it's down on the smaller chain ring in the front. Okay, moving on to the back. Click once, the chain jumps up 1 gear. That's exactly what you want. So now right there, there's a little bit of a hesitation. So I can simply use the barrel adjustment on the back here, and I will tighten that up, and you'll see how that jumps into the next gear. Drop it down. Small delay, I loosen it a half a turn, and then go back through the gears. Tighten. And that's working. So let's just say I took the limit screw on the high and I decided that I'm just going to tighten this down. So what happens is if you could see that, the cage is moving toward the wheel. And that will let you align the derailleur up with the gears here. And then the cable, as long as that is where it should be, that will swing the derailleur left to right and right to left. Now every time you make an adjustment, it could throw things off, so you have to go through them again. We're going to loosen that. And that works. So if I was going to use the low gear or the low limit screw, and I'll just tighten that. Now let's see what reaction we get out of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. I can't go up anymore because I tightened that limit screw. And again, that limit screw determines the derailleur movement side to side. So what we could do here is a couple of turns on the low limit screw. Check to see if that clears it up, and it does. Now what you don't want to happen is you don't want this chain to jump over into between the cassette and the rim. So you want to make sure that you definitely can't pull or push the lever and have the derailleur go over too far. But as you can see, they jump back down. what I do is I go through the gears on the big chain ring in the front and the small chain ring to make sure all the gears are lined up and everything is working as it should. Okay, I set the derailleur up to fail. So it's going to overshift and the chain is going to pop off the chain ring. Hopefully, here, let's try it. So we're going to shift up. Didn't do it, but I shift over. Now I'm spinning. So in this instance, while you're riding, downshift there, pops the chain back on so you don't have to stop. But in reality, all I have to do is set that limit screw. Okay, so I'm going to take that screwdriver, I'm going to turn the high screw, and I'm going to tighten it just a hair. Drop it into the low gear, shift it up to high, try and make it pop off. It doesn't, so I know I'm set. Okay, so I hope this video helped you guys out. Make sure that you check your limit screws. Make sure they're not allowing the derailleur to move over to one side too much. You can adjust those limit screws. I use a flathead screwdriver. Sometimes there's tension on it and the Phillips tends to strip them out. So I use a flathead. If you have any questions, Tyler, and you need any help, please reach out. I'll be happy to help you out. I hope you like this video. Guys, always stay safe and keep riding.